City of Angels is black and gold. You are listening to the Heart of LAFC podcast. And now, Joseph Zacher.
Greetings, Los Angeles. Welcome to episode 413 of the Heart of LAFC podcast. We're going to call this one Stepping Up, as the black and gold does exactly that against Toronto. Gets the job done. New faces getting the job done. Yeah, honestly, a happy day for all of us, and we're in that hunt, and even closer to the final day. It looks like we're going to be and leading into a weekend with momentum. All good news, that's for sure. So we'll cover that. We'll talk, of course, magic numbers for the playoffs, and of course, preview our match against Austin today. We've got Bam and we've got Tony in the mix. See both of them ready to go. Tony recovering from last night's match. I think both of us are. You can kind of hear it in our voices. How you doing, Tony?
Doing pretty well. Recovering from last night. It was a very eventful, and of course, weekday games are always the most unpredictable ones, to say the least, in the stands and on the field. So, recovering from that, even having a long football talk till pretty much 12 o'clock in the morning with Tilo. So it was a good night overall. Again, hope still there. We just got to keep doing what we need to do, and everything is going to be fine.
Keeping hope alive with another victory. Bam, how are you doing, sir?
I'm doing all right. It's now a weekend for me, which is perfect. We've got, obviously, Sunny and South Korea kicking off in 6 hours' time. You've got a new football league, the Australian Championship, kicking off today too with a big match. It's going to be South Melbourne, which is a Victorian team, which is a Victorian Greek team, playing Sydney Olympic, which is also a Sydney Greek team. So it's going to be a nice big game there to kick off that new league, and it's going to be interesting to see how that goes, because there's a lot of old NSL teams and current NPL teams that will still be playing the NPL and also playing this in the off season.
Oh, that's interesting. So how would it fall in the pyramid for Australia?
It's a standalone.
Oh, okay. So not a rival, just something that happens during the off season.
So all the teams that are in this play in their state's NPL, so they're top flight in their state, and they're pretty much going, okay, we've got the foundation teams, and then we'll have the best from around the country join it as well. So it's the best without being A-League involved.
That's cool. That sounds like fun, man. Keep us posted on that one. I'm sure you're going to go to some games, right?
I'll try to get to a couple of games. Looks at $20 tickets, so not too bad, but all depends on what happens around home and having some time off from going out and watching sport.
That too, for sure. All right. Well, let's get into it with LAFC and everything that's going on. Of course, you did mention Sonny's going to be playing for South Korea. There's also another game with Bouanga. I think it's a 6 a.m. kickoff for us tomorrow here in the States. But Denny Bouanga, he needs to get a win for his side to have any chance of making it to the World Cup. I guess they have 2 games left. I think I'm right on that. Right, Bam? You got 2 to go?
Yeah, they got 2 to go. Yeah, it's a 6 a.m. kickoff for you guys too. And then just to add it in at 6:30 p.m. tomorrow for you guys, you got Sean Ye playing for Canada. And at 6 p.m. tomorrow, you also got El Salvador with Ordaz playing tomorrow. So over the next 24-hour period, it's a big game for a lot of our players.
Nice. And if you do catch Gabon playing, Denny's lined up with Aubameyang, which is really fascinating to see. And Denny, if he scores, will actually be tied for the league in African qualifying. He'll be tied for the lead for goals. So that's what I saw recently. Hopefully that does play itself out. He's got 8 goals so far in qualifications. So yeah, not bad for Denny. Again, good luck to him. Hopefully we hear some good stuff. That is for sure. All right, on to the side, of course, as you know, with everybody missing, we had to create a bit of a modified lineup, and it was proper, honestly. Lloris, of course, was in goal. Segura, Tafari, and Porteous were back at the central defensive role. Palencia and Smolikov got the start this match as the outside wing backs, midfielder, you call it. Midfield was basically Delgado, Morin, and Tillman. And up top, Martinez and Ibobise, of course. It looked more like the 4-3-3 in the opening stages, or the 5. Man, it was weird. 3-4-3 more likely, early stages. And it shifted as the game went along. The substitutions went out there. But honestly, Bobase looked the part. Martinez looked a bit wild. But the organization was strong from the very beginning. Looking at Toronto and what they had to field, of course, they had a modified lineup too. They played a 4-3-1-2 for this match. Johnson was back in goal. Rosted and Thompson were in the back. Franklin, Peretta were their outside defenders. Sifu was on the left. Coelho holding it down in midfield. Dominguez on the right in midfield. And Mihailovic, of course, their playmaker in the mid as well. Vilcent and Corbeneau were their strikers for this match. And again, they were missing about 3 starters, as were we. And as you see, the matchup got out pretty interesting. Now, how did it form? We knew they were going to be well organized. We knew it was going to be battle, and we had to get picky with things. Well, guess what? We did. Right, Tony? How did things go in that first half?
It went pretty well. It was everything that we needed from our front end, our front three. We capitalized. Let's just go into 13th minute. Like, we capitalized on a mistake on Toronto's side. Ibobise, give him that opportunity. He will put it in the back of the net, and that's what he did. Speed for the old man. You have to say, but speed got out and pretty much slotted it in, up 1-0, and there was more chances, even especially with Smolikov and I want to even say Amaya a little bit, if I remember right, before the goal. But like, the crosses were honestly, by the half, I think we should have been up like 3-0, 4-0 at that point. Like, who knows how many. So many missed opportunities. Yes, Toronto did have a chance.
I'll call him Smoley. He has one hell of a touch, man.
Mhm.
Honestly. The service from him is strong, dude. Like, you're just waiting. Someone's going to get on the end of these one of these days, and it's going to work out. But, God, he looked good on the outside. Plenty, of course, in the mix. Got an early card, but I think he earned it, let's be honest. It was good. Delgado, of course, getting rough with it, too. They were pretty big dudes on this team, so I will say I did like the grit from the first half. I also like the mindset. We score a goal off of an opportunistic play, and you would think, oh, cool, we'll celebrate. Instead, everybody gathers to celebrate, and it turned into a tactical conversation. I don't know if you noticed that, but it was super serious right after scoring a goal. And you could tell Delgado was kind of laying down the law with Martinez in that moment and a couple others to make sure that adjustments were right to make it work and build off of it. It was smart. I like it. I like the focus. Bam, your thoughts on that stage of the game or our first half performance?
First performance, I thought, was magnificent for a front three that's never really played much together. Showed us what we need to do, and that is, when there is a mistake, you capitalize. Because going into it, I thought both teams had fairly good chances. Both teams were playing quite defensively too.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, there should have been more goals in the first half, but at the same time, no. It was a nice, gritty, tight first half, which is what, as Tony was saying last episode, this is what we're getting into, especially in playoffs, is those gritty matches where a chance like that you've got to take, and we did take it.
Exactly. And to the ref's credit or detriment, he did let these guys play pretty hard. He was not calling anything very tightly. I mean, there was some real questionable stuff, and we're like, hey, what about that one? But it went the other way too. So they're letting them earn it. They treated it. It looked like a playoff vibe. It really did. I know they're out of it, but it had that look. Second half, though, a little changes, little differences in it. They did start taking the game to us a bit more in that second half. Looked a little bit more comfortable early on. Kind of found their footing in that second half, right, Tony?
Yeah, they did. Like, the opportunities were there for them, but it's then we still were pressuring them, And eventually they got to them in the, well, let's talk about the, well, before we get to the good part, we have also talk about the bad part.
Yeah.
A little movement of like Martinez, missed penalty a chance. I take some credit for that miss as well, because I was like, I thought it was an automatic, like, you know what I mean? Like, this is opportunity, like this is put him on the board, and I jinxed it myself. I would say it pretty much over celebrating before it was going to go in. He missed the opportunity. We could have been up 2-1, but like not even 9 minutes later, Amaya comes in for Martinez, and Amaya does what Martinez couldn't. Off a breakdown of the defense, a ricochet, Amaya finds the ball one-on-one with the keeper, goes near post, puts it in, slots it in. Immaculate save. And then Ibobase a couple goals to try to score it, couldn't get it into the net. Tillman had a nice opportunity chance. And then Toronto had one opportunity in the second half. That was a really good opportunity, but Lloris saved us and kept us that clean sheet. And 3 points, third place now. And, the conversation goes to, okay, now we focus on Austin, and where do we go from there?
Exactly. So yeah, second half, as he said it, and I will say, give Dolo credit. The substitutions were proper in the moment, and were what we needed to get across the line here. I mean, Martinez, I know he came off saying he had a cramp. I don't know if it was total cramp or frustration too. He wasn't having his best day. And everybody saw that. You could tell he knew he wasn't having his best day, not just because of the penalty missed. Again, the potential's always there. We know this with a young player. You see it. There's something special there. But hey, has these days, man, where just the boot's a little crooked, you could say. He kind of frustrates, and then he kind of goes in his own little world. Like on the missed penalty, he instead of trying to be a part of that and give himself as an available option, he kind of just was pouting on the spot. Like there could have been more into it, and he just kind of went, okay, whatever. And so yeah, they had those moments with him, and the change looked good. And I give Maya credit. Most would have probably tried far post or high, and he just slotted it low near against the grain, pretty much. That's what it was, and it was smart. It was very smart because Johnson was not looking that way, right? Right, Bam?
No, it wasn't. Everyone was looking for the the face of the goals and not expecting the near post, and it was great. And I can't iterate as much as I can of this is the type of win that we needed right now.
Yeah,
big names are out. They had big names out, but all these other players that were playing today, you're looking and going, you're playing for that spot in the playoffs. You're playing for the time where, okay, Bouanga's has had a couple of bad tackles on him. He's a little bit sore. We need to sub him off before he gets injured. Who's going to step up? Ibobase, he can step up. Got all these other players that can step up, and this is what you got to show right now with these players out. You got to make it so you've got to have a hard decision to make on when they come back on who do you start.
And speaking of hard decisions or making decisions harder to make, 2 players actually had their debut in this match as well. So that's just the added competition, right? Jailson comes in mid. Baluta, I hope I said it right, comes in as a wing towards the tail end of this thing, or as a forward, you could say. He was all over the place. Had some good moments, had some rough moments. Again, you're adjusting into it. I thought we were going to get a goal from Baluta as well. You got close. He did get close. Jailson, on the other hand, some passes were a little bit rough, right? Some timing was a little bit off, but you could still see there's something there, guys. There is quality there. He's just got to get his timing right and learn how the guys make their runs. The adjustment is needed, and you could see it. I did feel really bad for him towards the end of that game, which we saw a very unique moment. Jailson got basically hacked right at the final whistle. Looked painful, man. And we all thought, oh yeah, game over. And then VAR after the whistle, which I don't think I've ever seen, but that's what we got. They go to VAR, decide, yeah, that was a red card challenge. Give the guy the red card while he's drinking his water and getting ready to go home. And just that much more complicated. Again, I don't remember ever seeing something like that. Bam, have you seen anything like that before?
I think I have. I'm just trying to remember when I have seen it, but I'm pretty sure I have seen something similar where game's over, they're going VAR, and then it's a red card. Like, I know I've seen players get red carded before coming on as a sub.
Yes, I've seen that.
I've seen that a
Mhm.
few times, but I'm pretty sure like at least once I've seen after the game VAR go in red card.
Yeah, it was fascinating. I think all of us when we were celebrating were like, "Why is there a red card sign coming up on on the board?" It was odd. That's for sure. Tony, did you even notice it happening?
No, I was up in the I was swinging the flag for a while, like just
Yeah.
having fun with it, and then it came down. And then I remember Casey noticed, like, "Is there a red card?" And I was like, "What? Like, what are you talking about? Like, there was no red card." And I don't think I even checked like Foot Mob and like everything, and there was no mention of it until probably this morning, where it was just, wait, what? There's a red card?
Yeah.
Like, so odd. It's, again, it makes sense, especially because of the final game moves forward for Toronto, but they don't really have anything to play for at this moment in time. So lucky for them. But mind you, if it was someone who was in the running, that would have been detrimental for them as well.
Been bad news, that's for sure. But yeah, Coelho earned it. He didn't say much after he got the red card either. I think he kind of knew he was dead to rights on that anyway. And that was that. We get the win. Hopefully Jellison's okay. Again, what an introduction, right? You know, a hit like that. But yes, 2 new players showing a lot of promise. Good on everybody that actually participated in this match because, yeah, they stepped up proper. They really did. And now gives us some hope going into Austin. And yes, we're going to preview Austin today as well. Talk about who they're missing because that will have an effect on the game too. We did give a bit of possession, but that, of course, got us the shot attempts that we needed to get the job done. We got the win. We move on. Now, looking at the standings with only a few games to play, we now have 59 points with 2 games to go. Whitecaps are at 60 with 2 games to go. San Diego's at 60 as well with 1 game to go. And then Minnesota's got 58 points. So if we mess up, they could sneak past us on the last game of the season. But that is pretty much where the race is out. Sounders are 99% chance 5th place. That's just where they're at. We can't finish below 4th. Actually, nobody can finish below 4th from the final 4 teams. So you're going down to the last day here. You're like, well, what about percentages? Where does it stand? Overall standings right now give the Whitecaps a 54% chance advantage of finishing in first because why? They've got 1 extra point, and we both have a few games to go here. So, yeah, equal games now. We need to slip up for them on the weekend, and they're going to Orlando. Yeah, that is where it's at. We need a little bit of help here to make it happen. Otherwise, second place is looking like a possibility if we get the results we need, especially with San Diego having to go into the last day in Portland. So again, not easy for them. Now, if you're like, well, what's going to happen if we win? Well, again, we're 29% chance of first, 36% chance of second, 26% chance of third, and 9% chance of fourth. But if we win the next game, that puts us then at 47% chance at first, 39% chance at second, only a 14% chance at third. Get the win. Get the win. That's what it means. You got to get the win. If you win out both of your games, the claim is we're a 74% chance of finishing first. But like I said, it's simple now. The percentages don't mean much at this stage. The games do now. With 2 games to play, it is all about the results. We need a slip up from Vancouver. It's that simple. Even a draw for them in either of our final 2 games gives us the opening if we can get our 2 wins. If we slip up and get a draw, forget it. It ain't happening. We're not going to catch them for first. It's just not, yeah, it's going to be rough. So we got to worry about us. They got to worry about them. That's how it's going to play. And Orlando is a tough team, and Austin is a tough team at home. Neither team has it easy because after that, for Austin, they got to play Dallas at home. So there's some rivalry to that too. And then we got Rapids on the road. So if you look at it, we kind of have the hardest because we're both road games. And then you're like, well, what about Minnesota? Can they sneak in? Well, they got to play Galaxy on the last day, so they kind of have an advantage there, at least getting another win on the final day. So that does make it, more of a threat to us. So we just got to keep performing. That's it. That's simple. That's the numbers. Thoughts, Bam, going into these final 2 games with this shootout against Whitecaps, pretty much.
Going to the final 2 games, I hope former LAFC player Atuesta can do us a major favor and stop Vancouver. I know you can get a bit hot-headed over there like you did here. You want to take your frustration, do it on some players. Obviously don't do anything too bad, but try and get them red carded would be great. Especially, a Brian White, a Mueller, players like that. If they can get a red card during the game before any goals are scored, would be perfect. But going into it, seeing how we played yesterday, I'm confident with us going into Austin. I'm confident with us getting 3 points in Austin, and I just hope that Orlando can do us a major favor, especially playing at home in Orlando, that they can at least get a point from Vancouver.
Yeah, I mean, I look at Orlando and they've got a 14-7-11 record. Okay, that's not bad. They still are on the lower side of the table in the East, because the East has actually kind of outperformed the West a little bit for the most part. They've got to get the win. It's critical for Orlando to get the win. So they're going to be putting everything out there to get the job done. Both sides will also have some missing players in it, so that adds to the wrinkle too, just like everybody else, because it's international window. So we'll see. We'll scoreboard watch. Their game's 4:30 kickoff, and I think I'm looking at the right way there. 4:30 over there, or for us, 4:30, 7:30 Eastern. So we'll kind of know where we sit going into our game. That's pretty much, yeah, it's on. We play the next day, so that helps. Now, what does that mean after that? Of course, the game that we have to play this weekend. I do see some comments, so before we get into that, let's look at the comments for you guys and what you think. Yeah, again, we want to hear from you. It's always awesome. Dave with the initial hit here. There you go. He says it's Friday for him. Yes, in the Netherlands. There you go. Burke in the mix says, good evening, gents. Nice seeing you last night, Burke. Giving you all in the North End as always. Dave Gomez says Abobase's press leading to the match opener was fire. I agree. I like that you mentioned that, because there is something that I didn't mention in the breakdown, but Toronto plays with a really high line. It was very hard for us in the opening stages because how high they play. They compact that field down, and they're always on you, giving no room. And it really was a little tough for us to adjust. But as you see, when you play that high line, that means there's people on you too. Everything's close quarters, and that kind of helped the lead of things. So pretty good there. Dave's like, who's going to be our scorers in Austin? I mean, I'm always going to bet on Ebobase, right? He knows how to step up in bigger games. So he's had a history of that in Portland, a history of that in San Jose. He finds timely goals. So I've always feel good about what he's going to do out there now that he's fully healthy and fit and ready to go. So, yeah. Other than that, I thought Delgado, the way he's been playing, like he might be somebody that could do something. So I know. Number 8? Yeah, number 8. Lately, it's been looking really strong for him. And then Dave also says, I love Jaleson's ball handling. Going to be good. Yeah, he's just got to get used to everybody. You could tell that. There's something there. I mean, he's had his moments. So, yeah. Well, I think we're all looking forward to it. Good stuff, Dave. All right. Also, before we get into that last match, let's talk about a little bit of community stuff. What have you got, Tony? Anything special going on in the community, sir?
Yes, we do. So you've been seeing on social medias. There is a watch party that I was mentioning about, but before that, we actually have a 3252 ride to.
A little bit of a freeze there from Tony.
No,
It's like he's a little bit
Disorder?
scattered in the moment. Sorry,
Okay.
Tony.
Okay, no worries. I was
Yeah.
like, all right. I was like, oh crap. I was like, no. So 3252 ride to Cycle La Via. Meet at Mariachi Park on Sunday, October 2nd. Meet at 11 a.m. and ride out till 12 p.m. Return for the Austin LAFC watch party at Mariachi Plaza, which leads to the watch party, which is at Mariachi Plaza, 1831 First Street, Los Angeles, California, 933. Kickoff is at 4 p.m. Early arrival is suggested because if you ever been around that area, you know how corky it is. So it's the best way to say that. And 3252 merch will be available, and it's a joint with LAFC. Again, this is going to be one of the, I think, last big ones before we find out moving forward, and pretty much my last watch party for the season, and then off to Colorado for myself.
There we go. So yes, Tony is slightly derezed. You could say in this moment. But he says, Ciclavia, check it out, guys. It's going to be a lot of fun with that watch party. And speaking of Derez, we were talking a bit about the Vinyl Club Minute, and I think we're having a little bit of fun with it. So Tron Ares comes out pretty much now, right? It's out. And I think we're all Nine Inch Nails fans, so we all had that vibe of let's talk about Nine Inch Nails for the Black and Gold Vinyl Club Minute. I think for me, one of my favorite songs is "We're in This Together." I always thought I could be a chant at some point. It's on the Fragile album, 1999 released. Yeah, it's awesome. It's amazing. Anything from Nine Inch Nails, honestly, from that period is awesome. So that's where I was at. Bam, do you have any thoughts about your Vinyl Club Minute album?
For me, I prefer the cover than Nine Inch Nails version of it. It's got to be Hurt, plain and simple.
Mm-hmm.
Like Nine Inch Nails version is good, but the cover is so much better.
Well, it's Johnny Cash, man. Like the greatest of the greatest, you know. And there's a story about Trent Reznor basically saying that he lost his song on the first time he heard it. It was no longer his, which was interesting. Because if you've ever seen Nine Inch Nails, especially in their concerts back in the day, that song "Hurt," like the digital imagery and everything that happens in the stadium. Yeah, man, it's next level. Look it up. So again, two legends, one amazing song, no doubt about that. And then Tony, I think he's still frozen back there. He was going to talk about, I think, the Closer album. So
Am I still frozen?
go for it, man. I think I hear you now.
Okay, I was like, am I still frozen? Because I was like, my video seems to be going well with it. So I'm like, oh, great. Perfect time for Tron. But yeah, mine was Closer with Nine Inch Nails. But if I wanted to go with Tron, I would go back to the Daft Punk Tron album that they released.
The first one or the second one? Because they had a remix too.
First one.
There you go. Yeah, no, I'm a huge fan of Tron movies as well. So
Okay.
Daft Punk did it right, that's for sure. I'm hoping with this Nine Inch Nails, y'all enjoy that one too. This one's gonna be a little different vibe, but still amazing. Yes, Bam?
Well, what I like about the Daft Punk one is that they did the album first, then created the movie around it.
Yeah. So cool. Yeah, no, I dig it. I really do. I'm one of those Tron people, just like Tony is down there. How can you not be? It's just amazing. Going back to the old days as well. So yes, Jeff Bridges vibe. There you go. So all right, so let's move forward onto the match. I know Tony is going to be, I think, a little bit in and out. We're going to keep him on though. Hopefully, it goes clear when we get into the weeds here. All right, so playing Austin this Sunday, 4:00 kickoff. They've got about 44 points, 12, 8, and 12 record. Yeah, that's right. They got to perform too, or they're at risk. We've got 59 points, 17, 8, and 7 record. Now, in terms of Austin's performance, they did drop their last two matches, a 3-1 defeat to St. Louis City SC, and then they lost in the Open Cup to Nashville. Yeah, those guys. And then before that, they lost to Real Salt Lake. So it's not been on bed of roses for these guys as of late, and as they're trying to get back on track. And now they got to face a modified LAFC lineup. Now, who's stuck out to them this year? Their leading scorer so far has been Murto Uzuni, 27 matches, 6 goals. Then Owen Wolf, who's been a bit of a revelation, let's be honest. 32 games played, 5 goals. Brandon Vasquez, 5 goals. Bukhari has 3. Buto has 2. Then you kind of go down the line with Diego Rubio with 2 as well. Owen Wolf is also the leading assist man, 8 assists so far. Then comes Bukhari with 6, Pereira with 5, Uzuni with 3, and Rubio with 3. Now, I mentioned all these names, but guess what? Yeah, they're losing some players, just like we are, and it might hurt them even more. Now, Micah Burton is playing for the under-20s for the U.S., probably not going to feature as a starter, right? Julio Cascante, though, defender for Costa Rica. That's going to hurt. Danny Pereira playing for Venezuela. He's out. Alexander Svatuk playing for Ukraine. Center back. That's 2 defenders now missing. And then Murdo Ozuni playing for Albania during this. So their leading scorer is out of the mix. Not easy for them. That does identify or identify some major holes for LAFC that they can take advantage of, especially in the center back situation, as 2 center backs are out. Technically, though, only one of those guys is a starter. The other is the backup to him. So, yes, still a huge hole. Now, last match, if you look at how they fielded, it was 4-3-3 last game against St. Louis. They had Stuver back in goal, Svatok and Heinz Eich. Heinz Eich tends to be the starter anyways in the back position, but it's Svatok being out and now Cascante being out, that would be there anyway. Yeah, it makes it hard for them. Dessler and Gallagher, the outside backs. Then Pereira, Sanchez, and Sabovic were the midfielders last time. Again, Pereira is going to be out. And then Uzuni led the attack up top with Bukhari and Wolf on the outsides. So as you see, down the spine, they've got an issue to deal with, just like we do. Game before that, in the Open Cup final, they actually pulled a 4-4-2. Same story in this one. In this case, it was Cascante and Heinz Eich. You know about Cascante already as their center backs. Sanchez and Pereira were the midfielders in this case. Yeah, I know it's Ilie, guys. With Wolf and Bukhari in the outs, Rubio, Uzuni up top. So again, they're hurting. That lineup situation might hurt them more than it hurts us going into this. Bam, your thoughts about a modified Austin lineup? How concerned should they be at this stage?
The upside to them is that they cannot miss playoffs, plain and simple. You know, they're 4 points clear of where's the table again? They're currently 4 points clear of Colorado. So with a game in hand. So looking at that, they lose this, they lose the next one, they'll still beat Colorado by a point. So they can't miss playoffs. They do have the number 4 ranked under 22 player for the top 22 with Owen Wolf in there. So for me, big worry of him. Obviously, you know, they're missing their main striker, which is a benefit to us. But still, I wouldn't underestimate them because they are sitting 6th. They obviously can't make top 4, but they're still fighting to stay in 6th spot.
Yeah, they're about a 67% chance of holding that. Just getting into the playing around, say the 8th spot, they're only a 6% chance because, again, the points just kind of play in their favor, you could say, and the matches ahead do as well. So, yes, we can throw a wrench into things and make it hard on them for the last day, but they're in. They're in the show. It's just where they're going to finish and who they're going to play. You know, I've heard rumors that this could be the team we play in the first round of the playoffs because of the way things are falling. That is a reality. Again, 6th seed, 7th seed. Yeah, that would be the round that the teams we're looking at, depending on how we finish. So this could be a potential playoff implication too, and who we get to play. We actually have a say in that with this result. So big time. So that is something to look at. Tony, Thoughts, man, going into this match, seeing who they're missing, seeing who they're missing. What do you think, man? How you feeling about the lead up to this?
I'm confident to a point, and I say this because it's Texas. We don't really do that well when we go down to that state. It doesn't matter if it's in Dallas, if it's in Austin or Houston. Just something about there is just it doesn't work out as well. So I feel confident that we can hopefully take the win out, but again, it's going to be a grinder game like the last time. And
Mm-hmm.
like I said, we just got to focus on this game. That's all it is. It's all about the person if we do like players to watch, and I'll just take it from defenders. Shout out to them earlier today if you want to listen to this afterwards. But Martinez is going to be the person who I'm going to be watching it for sure because he could probably get through that defensive line. Pretty simple.
Yeah, and then Eboba say again, you're dealing with a center back situation who I'm not even certain who's going to play center back next to Heinz Ike because the guy that would is gone too. So that makes it a little complicated. Now, if Eboba and Martinez are on their game, they can definitely take advantage of that. I look at the midfield situation, and Sanchez is Sanchez. We all love him. We all know him. We know what he's capable of, and he's now going to be dueling with Delgado, his replacement. That should be fun. But again, Pereira, who's also a guy that's threading the needle for these guys, is not there. So we should be able to take advantage. It is what it is. We got to execute. Just like the last match. They got to do that again. And we know that back-to-back good games for us for a long time this season wasn't a thing. So now we need it now. Big time. Big time. Biggest concerns, Bam, going into this match?
Biggest concern for me is Ilie. That is my biggest concern. He can be the one that can turn around and say, no, I'm stopping your run. It's now our time. Sit down. But that is my biggest concern going into this game, plain and simple.
I mean, it is an actual duel in the midfield. It really is. And who gets to control the pace on this thing? They dictate it. It's going to be a battle. That's for sure. Now, let's talk about our side. What are we going to do in this match? The last match, again, it listed as what, a 3-4-3 between a 5-3. I mean, it went all over the place. ESPN, of course, says it's the 3, or actually it's a 5-3-2, which we all know that the wingbacks were all over the place in this game. And Tillman and Moran were taking turns up top. So it kind of turned into a 3-4-3 at stages. So now we look at the lineup. We saw who featured in the last game and who did well in the last game. Where are our starters going to be here? Now, I think maybe I'm not, too off on this, but Segura, Tafari, Porteous, that's your center backs. Why would it be any different? If those guys are healthy, that's who goes in. It's not going to change. Lloris, why would I not expect him to be in this game? And man, he's been good lately, hasn't he? Oof, he's been really carrying us, especially this last game. He came in clutch. So we know he's going to be there. Outside backs is the story, right? Smolikov and his amazing match, and I thought it was amazing from him last match. He's out on that left. Palencia's out on that right. I expect Palencia to be there. There is no question he's going to be there, especially that side in this game. They're going to need him there because of their situation. But yes, is it going to be Hollingshead? Is it going to be Smolikov this time? Tony, I'll go to you first. Is it Smoley? Is it Hollingshead?
I think it's Smoley. I think you bring in Hollingshead onto the second half on this one, but I would go with Smoley.
Take advantage in the moment. What do you think, man?
It's got to be Smolikov. Hollingshead is great, as I said last episode, but at the moment, that spot is Smolikov's.
There we go. All right. Now it goes to that midfield situation. Last time, again, it was kind of modified where it was Delgado, Tillman, Moran, but Moran dropped back and Tillman went high, and then they kind of took turns, and it got a little weird there. Now we look at it again, and I go back to you, Bam. Delgado is a certain. He's in. I would think those other two are as well, right? Why would it be any different? What do you think?
I'm going to go a little bit different. I'm going to keep Tillman, and Moran's going to sit for me.
Wow. Okay. So what does that do to the lineup then?
So up top, I'm going to keep Martinez and Ibobase, but I'm putting Baluto in there.
Ooh. Okay. Put some pressure on a back line that needs pressure. Let's
Yeah,
be real.
like
Okay.
Baluto in the short time that he was on, he showed me some stuff that I was happy with. So I want to see him have a full 90, have a full crack at it.
Yeah, there's some aggressiveness to his play that I like, and he doesn't hesitate to shoot. Like he's got a shoot first mentality, which is not bad to see, because we've had a lot of hesitation from other players. So that's nice. I go to you, Tony. Now that you've heard the lineup from Bam, what are you countering with? Or are you agreeing with him?
I counter with what we started in the last game. Tillman, Delgado, and Moran, and then I think I change up the front line though. With that would be the only thing would be Ibobasi and Amaya.
Amaya up top. Okay. All right. I mean, he kind of earned it with the goal,
Mhm.
right? I mean, that could be something that gets rewarded in this game. I'm kind of in the camp of we all know Dolo and Dolo's ways, and if he likes something, he just sticks with it and he rides it, and he goes with the guys he trusts, and then he goes from there. So I kind of feel that it's going to be the same thing that we saw against Toronto, and then if changes are needed, as he did, bring in the subs and take care of business. We'll see though. Again, Amaya looked good, man. So maybe he features. Baluta is cool too. He will get minutes, I guarantee it. The same players will probably going to get minutes in this. It's just when and how. So, going to be fun. Going to be amazing. See a couple comments from the faithful. Let's see what you guys think in the lead up to this. Where we go? Who's in the mix? We've got Dave says, reboot your router, Tony. Yeah, he got duress, right? Had a little interference there. And then Mary says, yes, Tony's sound is choppy. Yeah, he's having some connection issues, I believe. Burke says Flynn lives. Nice. And then Dave says free Frankie. So he wants to see Frankie in the mix too, just like you, Tony. So there we go, man. Love it, guys. Thank you again for the comments. Keep it up. If you haven't commented before, and I see a lot of you guys are listening, don't hesitate. We love to hear from you guys. It's always fun to hear from the faithful. And again, you challenge us to think about some things we haven't thought of before. So that's always a good thing. The healthiest way, hearing from the faithful. We hear you for 90. We'll hear you for more. All right. On that note, as you heard from the boys and what their thoughts are in this match, that's right. Come and do another close on this episode. We will definitely visit you guys next week again as we lead up for Decision Day. I know it's here, and all to play for. Man, it's been a fun one this year. That's for sure. So when it comes to that, final comments, I think I'm going to go to Tony first on this one. Final thoughts, sir.
Final thoughts is, have some fun this weekend. Again, it is October, so a lot of Halloween parties. So drink responsibly. Make sure you get home safe so we can see you on Sunday. And, have fun on that little bike ride before the game, and then also see everyone there. And hopefully see you guys one last time. And again, for the next episode, I'll be in Colorado. So I'll be doing it from my phone like we did one time before. And again, that will be a very interesting conversation because then we start talking Golden Boot. Who's going to get it? Who's going to have it? And then hopefully we have another conversation about do we get second or do we get first, and see how fast we can get there.
That's the story, and we get to talk about seedings and all that fun. Oh, that's the best part, prepping for the playoffs. So, yes, it's on. And like Tony does mention, Golden Boot's going to come down to the final game as, yeah, all of them are going to be eligible and ready to go. Will it be Messi? Will it be Bouanga? Will it be Surridge? Yeah, out of the blue there. And, of course, that matchup between Nashville and Montreal on the last day makes it that much more fascinating. So we'll see how that plays out. Thank you, Tony, for that. Bam, your final thoughts?
Final thoughts. First off, I want to be shout out to both David Martinez and Nathan Ordaz, who made the top 22 under 22 for the MLS. Martinez at number 5, Ordaz at number 8. This is the last year that all dads can be on the list, because being 21, turns 22 next year, so he won't be able to make the list. But seeing him on there again is always good to see. For those this weekend, if you can make it, go out for the big bike ride. Physical workouts can do great things for your mental health. It's also a way to connect with other people, get out there, enjoy some sunshine, get moving. And as I always say, mental health is huge. Look after it, because if you don't look after it, it won't look after you.
There we go. Well said, sir. Again, looking out for your community, looking out for your friends, that is essential. Community is everything when it comes to the culture that we are in here. So, yes, thank you, sir, for that. And yes, Ciclavia is going to be great. We've done this before at LAFC. We had one in downtown that went really, really, really well. So not our first rodeo with this. Go out there and have a good time. Mariachi Plaza, that is just cool. That's going to set there. So, and if you can't ride a bike, you could take the Gold Line to the station that stops at Mariachi Plaza. Yes, and still get your way there without needing a bike and still enjoy all the fun. So there it is. On that note, of course, thank you all for your support throughout this season as we lead into the final week. What? Yeah. And yes, go out there, have a good time this weekend. Be safe. Do it. For the travelers like Tony, proud of you guys as well for making it happen. Final game of the season again will be next week. We'll preview it next week with you too. On that note, it's time to say goodbye to everybody. How do we do that? The final word. Tony, final word.
Stay golden, Los Angeles.
Bam.
Stay golden.
And from me to all of you, stay golden, Los Angeles.
Thank you for listening to the Heart of LAFC. Make sure to leave us a rating and review on iTunes or Stitcher. Shoulder to shoulder, the black and gold is taking over.